I've already done some talking about this subject, the World Trade Center attacks, and some people claim that it was an inside job. I could just answer this and say, hey, come on, it's ridiculous. But I have some ideas about how to explain this, that it was not an inside job. You have to have some arguments here. And first of all, we all know, even if you believe it was an inside job, we all saw the two planes hitting those buildings. There were witnesses, it was on TV, so no doubt about the fact that the planes, there was an impact. The planes hit the buildings. Even if you believe in the inside job, you can't deny the circumstances here that we all saw it. So then what? Then what? After that, our opinions, our ideas, we who believe it was not an inside job, and the other ones, the truthers, our opinions about this divert. So, but also one more thing. You have to agree that if a jumbo jet hits a skyscraper, the plane causes substantial amount of, damage to the building. You saw it was a hole in the buildings. There were holes in the buildings, and those planes were loaded with jet fuel. So then you all could always argue about was this damage caused by the planes? What was the damage enough to demolish the buildings? So there was damage to the buildings caused by the planes, by the impact of the airplanes. You agree on that? If you're a truther, you have to. Then you could always have, second thoughts about whether it was enough for the buildings to collapse. But then you have the truthers. They say it was caused by bombs. They blew up the building. The CIA was involved, so there was an explosion. CIA and the Bush administration, they had this building. They had access to the buildings. They were a company owned by the Bush family. They were landlords of the World Trade Center. Buildings, the complex, and so they planted the bombs. But if they had bombs detonating, how did they really time this? Did they have a timing device? So you could see actually the planes were coming, and then there were people outside or inside that pushed a button and the explosions went off? Or did they set an alarm clock to the bombs, so it was meant that the planes were about to hit the buildings at the certain time? So you don't know that either. And if there were bombs in the buildings, why did they bother to let the planes hit the buildings? CIA could have done this without any planes involved. There was an explosion, there was a terrorist attack on the World Trade Center in 1993. There were Muslim terrorists planting bombs in the basement of these buildings. But, the terrorist attack failed for some reason. They didn't have enough bombs, but the building took damage. And even if they had put more bombs into that building, it would have exploded and probably collapsed. So I mean, if the CIA planned this attack, well, it would have been enough to plant the bombs and then blame the terrorists. They didn't have to, involve the planes. That I don't understand. And you know, so the truthers, they say that the planes were remote controlled. Hard to believe. And then you have the terrorists. They were terrorists. They found out that they were terrorists, really, because no doubt about that. How did the CIA involve these terrorists, Mohammed Atta and his accomplices, his friends, Muslim, the other ones, terrorists, were they hired by the CIA? And they have the staff at the airport. Were they hired by the CIA too? I mean, Mohammed Atta and his gang of terrorists, they took a plane from Portland, Maine, to the first plane that they took to Boston. That was a plane they used to get to Logan Airport, and there was the staff at the Portland Airport. They were one of them. I saw this on YouTube, a documentary about the World Trade Center attacks. He was very suspicious when he encountered Mr. Atta at the check-in when he was about to board the plane, and he said, if this is not a terrorist, who would be? I mean, he looked very evil. He was from the Middle East, and he had some. He wanted to, check out him, take him out and scrutinize him. But then he said that he gave himself a mental slap and let him go. So at one moment he was about to stop Atta and thoroughly search through him. And if he did that, he would probably have found the box cutters, and the whole operation would be would have ceased. So he could have stopped it, but he didn't. And if the CIA planned all this, could they really? Why didn't they use their own people at the airport? Because they couldn't really allow this to happen. That this would be a risk, a high risk at them, that could have stopped the whole operation if a staff at the airport stopped the terrorists, if they had found the box cutters. So I wonder, if the CIA did this, why didn't they use their own staff at the airport? You could discuss this forever, but I don't believe it was a inside job when you look at the terrorists that were in the planes, and when you hear these interviews of the staff at the airports. I have learned too much about it to doubt it. I really think that it was all orchestrated by the Al-Qaeda